As the morning sun brushed the crimson mountains, Madamia Vance, aged 72, entered the Grand Summit Arena. Her crisp white gi and neatly tied black belt stood out like a bold statement. She moved with quiet confidence, head held high, her dark skin radiant under the arena's stark lights. Whispers rippled through the crowd instantly. Who let someone's grandma in? A teenager snickered, stifling a laugh. Nearby, a woman elbowed her daughter, murmuring, "Poor thing must be confused, probably searching for her grandkids." Madamia heard every word, every chuckle, but her face remained steady, her silence louder than their taunts. Today was the Regional Martial Arts Championship, the air heavy with sweat, pride, and bravado. Young fighters stretched, posed, and threw flashy practice punches while coaches shouted orders like drill instructors. Madamia approached the registration desk, where a young white woman froze upon hearing her name. "You're competing?" the attendant asked, eyes wide. "Yes," Madamia replied calmly, "special category. I signed up months ago." The girl hesitated, then handed over the badge with shaky hands. "Good luck." Word spread quickly, and soon the arena hummed with harsh excitement. "Is this a charity stunt?" Someone whispered, "Maybe a senior citizen demo." Another scoffed, "Imagine losing to her, career-ending embarrassment." Then Kalen Thorne strode in 6'2", broad-shouldered, shaved head, and a reputation for arrogance as vast as his 3-year undefeated streak. A 24-year-old black belt, white, privileged, and unapologetic, he tilted the room's energy with his arrival, his entourage trailing like loyal shadows. Spotting Madamia, Kalen's voice boomed, "What's this? Diversity quotas and age caps all in one." The crowd erupted in laughter. Not done, he pulled out his phone, live-streaming. "Check it out, guys, I'm fighting a retirement home runaway." He zoomed in on Madamia's face. "Smile, Grandma, tell my fans how it feels to walk into your own defeat." Madamia raised her eyes, unshaken, steady, powerful. "Respect," she said softly, "isn't given. It's earned." Her words landed like a quiet thunderclap. A few spectators fell silent. Kalen's grin wavered briefly before he brushed it off. Master Rohan, an older tournament official, approached her. "Madamia, your past championships were legendary, but your age—" He paused, eyes flickering, perhaps unsure if he meant her years or her race. She smiled faintly. "We all have limits. It's how we work with them that counts." Rohan sighed, nodding. "If you're sure, you're in." "But they won't hold back." "Neither will I," she replied, when the match schedule flashed on the giant screen. Kalen Thorne vs. Madamia Vance. The arena gasped. Kalen stood, cracking his knuckles dramatically. "This is gonna be a blast." He crowed. Laughter roared. Madamia closed her eyes briefly, then rose, her movements slow but precise, honed by decades of discipline. As she stepped onto the mat, the air grew thick with bias. Kalen couldn't resist a final taunt, loud enough for all to hear. "Hey, Black Grandma, hope you got your life insurance sorted." Gasps mixed with nervous chuckles. Madamia stood centered on the mat, bowing respectfully. Kalen bowed too, with an exaggerated, mocking flourish. The referee signaled the start. Kalen danced around her, footwork lazy, like a predator playing with prey. "Come on, old lady, show me that senior power." He threw a light jab at her shoulder, more for show than harm. She didn't flinch. He laughed. "You should be knitting or sipping sweet tea, not humiliating yourself in front of hundreds." A boy in the crowd whispered, "She's not scared." Kalen launched a spinning kick, fast and sharp, aimed at her head. The crowd gasped, but Madamia shifted one step and the kick missed. Kalen stumbled slightly, looking uncertain for the first time. The arena hushed. As he turned, gearing up for another brash charge, Madamia finally moved. "What, just gonna stand there?" Kalen barked, circling her with growing irritation. "This is karate, not a meditation session." The crowd split. Some laughed louder, others exchanged curious looks. Madamia hadn't fallen, hadn't struck, but she hadn't let him land a real hit either. Kalen threw a high kick, she blocked. He swung a direct punch, she dodged with effortless grace. His smirks faded, replaced by frustration. Attacks grew reckless, but Madamia's breathing stayed even, measured. She watched, analyzed. Kalen's temper flared. "Listen, old woman." He panted, sweat dripping. "You think an ancient black belt makes you untouchable. This is my turf." The referee flashed a yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct. Kalen barely noticed. Something in Madamia shifted. She stepped forward, and instinctively Kalen flinched back half a step. Their eyes locked. "Karate isn't about turf, boy," she said softly. "It's about spirit. And you've lost yours." Before he could respond, her first strike came, sharp, precise, targeting his center of gravity. Kalen crashed to the mat with a thud, blinking at the ceiling, stunned. The arena froze. The referee signaled a point for Madamia. She returned to her stance, calm, unruffled. Kalen scrambled up, eyes wide, pride cracked. He charged wildly. She stayed fluid, dodging, blocking, countering with precision. Then, during a reckless lunge, Kalen overreached. Madamia seized the moment, executing a clean hip throw. Kalen hit the mat on his knees. The crowd erupted, some cheering, others stunned. When the referee raised Madamia's hand, signaling victory, the arena exploded in applause. Kalen sat, gasping, drenched in sweat, but the real pain was deeper, shame. Madamia bowed with dignity to Kalen, the referee, and the crowd, then turned to leave. Pausing, she glanced back. "He who fights with anger loses before the match begins." As she walked off, a standing ovation followed, wave after wave of applause echoing her exit. Kalen remained kneeling, staring at the floor. His once rowdy friends stood awkwardly, some slipping away, unwilling to meet his gaze. Outside, young students approached Madamia. A little girl with a yellow belt tugged her sleeve. "Ma'am, I want to fight like you someday." Madamia smiled gently. "Then fight with heart and honor." Parents who'd mocked her earlier now clapped, some muttering apologies. Reporters swarmed, cameras flashing. Video of Kalen's fall was already viral. A young journalist rushed over. "Madamia, you're trending. Can we get a statement?" She raised an eyebrow, puzzled. "Trending? What's that?" The reporter grinned. "Social media. Your fight's everywhere." Facing the camera, Madamia's voice was steady. "This wasn't just my fight. It was for everyone told they're too old, too weak, or don't belong. For those whose voices are ignored, I fought for them. Respect is earned." Inside, Kalen sat alone, replaying his defeat on his phone, face flushed with more than sweat. Regret, perhaps. Master Rohan approached, resting a hand on his shoulder. "Kalen, today wasn't a loss. It was a lesson. Be grateful you learned it young." Kalen stayed silent, but for the first time in years he listened. At the awards ceremony, Madamia stepped onto the podium, holding her medal high. Not in pride, but quiet affirmation. Beside her, two younger girls stood, wiping tears. "Thank you, Madamia," one whispered. "We'll never forget this." The arena filled with applause again, and somewhere deep inside Kalen, something began to shift.